George and Tony here from the Realty Shop, and we want to address some questions that we're running into with a lot of our buyers and sellers. We really think if we help educate the public, they can make better and more informed decisions when it comes to buying and selling. So some of these topics we're running into right now are terms like seller's market, hot market, low inventory, low interest rates, and the list goes on, but really I think there's a few things that we could take away from today that would really help buyers and sellers. So George, what would you narrow that down to?
Yeah, so I think the three things that we should really focus on are the fact that we're in a hot seller's market and how we got there, how to sell and buy in the market, and then why it's more important to have an agent now more than ever.
So George, what is a seller's market and why is it hot?
Yeah, so typically when we're looking at the market as real estate agents, we're looking at absorption rate, months of inventory, right? So an equal market would be 6 months. A buyer's market would be more than 6 months. Less than 6 months, the closer you get to 1 month, is a seller's market, right? And so right now what we're looking at in the 350 and below, which is your first time home buyer bracket, we're looking at less than a month of inventory. And that goes almost all the way up to 800,000. So almost every area, St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jefferson County, St. Charles, we're somewhere in that range of a month and a half all the way to half a month of inventory. So months of supply, that's your absorption rate. That's basically if 0 homes come on the market in a month, all the inventory is gone. That's how quickly buyers are purchasing homes right now. Yeah, so I would say the reason homes are going under contract so quickly is that, a couple things. Pricing, it's correct. Condition, it's correct. Marketing, staging, they're all there because your buyer's looking for turnkey, right? 90% of our first-time home buyers, they're looking to close on Friday, move in over the weekend, and then go back to work on Monday.
So George, you mentioned right now it's definitely a seller's market. Inventory's low, but at work and with family and friends, I'm having buyers that are submitting offers 10 to 20% over asking price and they're still getting rejected. What do you think's causing that right now?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with exhausted buyers, right? So we have so much more buyers in the market than we do inventory. And those buyers are exhausted from writing 1, 2, 3 offers, and they find a lot of value in owning a home. And so they're waiving contingencies, such as your appraisal, your inspection, your financing, and they're going over list price.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I know we're going to talk about this more briefly in a second, but interest rates are still historically low. So they're getting more buying power by having their money go further because they're spending less on interest and spending more on building equity into their home. So their money's going further right now for sure.
Right, so not only is their money going further with low interest rates, historically it's low, right? So think back to 2018. I bought a house, I paid 4.5% interest rate, and the inventory was low then too. So we've had a trend of a seller's market for the last several years. So this isn't new to 2021 or 2020, but we've had a trend of a seller's market, and now things are tightening up even more because of demand.
So George, we just addressed that it's for sure a seller's market. Interest rates are lower, supply is low, demand is high. Now, what are the benefits to buying into this market right now? Because what we're hearing is people are spending $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 over asking price. Why would you do that?
Well, Tony, I think that's a good question on why you would buy in this market. And first of all, it's important to buy for the right reasons, right? Not to try to capitalize on a market that may be appreciating, but buying for your needs, right? Does it fit what you're looking for? If you're moving up, make sure it fits your needs. If you're leasing and you want ownership, make sure you're buying a house and you're going to stay here for the next 5 to 7 years. But the other big benefit is that you're buying into an appreciating market, because this trend will more than likely continue. If we look at the facts, the data, mortgage applications historically are up and have been climbing for the last several years. Inventory has been down for the last several years. So I think the biggest benefit is buying into an appreciating market with low interest rates. So if interest rates go up, more than likely next year, you're going to be buying a house that's more expensive and you're going to pay more in interest rate.
Right, just to piggyback on top of that, You know, if we take today's dollars and then move them to next year, let's say we buy next year when the interest rate is higher, now we're spending more money going towards interest that we're just throwing away, that we're giving to the lender, versus money that's going to be spent on equity into our home. So yeah, the purchase price might be more now, but it's less interest that we're paying over the long term of the 15 to 30 year, depending on the loan type you get. So it's something important to think about, is it might be more expensive up front right now, the purchase price, but as far as with interest being low, it's a big difference over the long span of 15 to 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're looking at a house and you have a plan maybe 7 or 8 years, that's most of our buyers. It's usually a 7 to 8 year house, and then they want to move up. Well, if you're buying now in an appreciating market with a lower interest rate, you're going to pay down that principal over the next 7 years faster than if you decide to wait a year to purchase, where you're going to pay more on the purchase price and interest. It's going to take you longer to pay down that principal, and you're going to have less for that next house.